Hi guys, welcome back to Cleaning Business TV, the internet's only TV station dedicated to starting and growing your own cleaning business. I'm Ron Holt, CEO and founder of Two Maids and a Mop. Normally David Luke is here with us. David's our VP of operations, but David's out in the field actually visiting location number 14. Yay. Two Maids and a Mop. We can't tell you exactly where that location is yet, but you'll know it within the next few weeks. Just know that whenever you hear this particular location, it's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be one of our top 2 largest markets. And again, there's no way you're going to get me to tell you where that number 14 is. If it were in Washington, D.C., I would never tell you. So David's out there doing his thing and isn't able to be here this week. So we brought in a great expert on all sorts of different things when it comes to cleaning businesses. Her name is Liz. Liz Lamar is here. And I want to introduce Liz to the internet world. Liz, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. My name is Liz Lamar, and I am the office manager for Two Maids and a Mop of Huntsville, and I'm glad to be here today.
Well, I'm glad you're here today, too, because we're talking about something that you are extremely proficient in and really good at. And we're Two Maids and a Mop, but this really can work, and this works for us, but this can work for all sorts of different types of cleaning businesses. Really, it could work for all sorts of any consumer service type business, whether you're in junk removal, a plumbing business, painting, or certainly cleaning businesses.
Absolutely.
So that thing is how to provide an in-home estimate experience, because that's going to be a big part of your job. You're going to provide tons and tons of experiences, estimates, I should say. They're going to be in front of all sorts of different types of audiences. They're going to be early in the morning. They're going to be, in some cases, late at night. And they're going to be all sorts of different types of housing arrangements, from condos to big homes and everything in between. So when you think back to our history at Two Maids and a Mop, we have some customers, believe it or not, that are still with us, Liz. They still love us, but they'll be the first ones to tell you that in the early days, I had a lot to learn, and one of the things I really needed to work on was the in-home estimate experience. I didn't really understand how to price properly. I didn't really understand the power of presentation, the power of salesmanship, and the power of efficiency too, because some people want you in there for a long time. Some people want you out of there in 5 minutes or less. So there's a lot of things we've learned over the years that I think you can learn from as well when you're building your own cleaning business. So let's just dive right in and start talking about some things. We've built around 10 different principles that we adhere to when we provide an in-home estimate. So let's talk about those things.
The first one, the first step you should remember is to never arrive late. It's safe to say that dependability is an important ingredient in the success of your business. Arriving late for an estimate can single-handedly eliminate your company from consideration with your potential client. As a result, it's important that you provide a 30-minute window of arrival. Should you encounter traffic congestion, make sure that you communicate efficiently with your potential client to let them know about your time of arrival. Proper planning should allow for you to arrive on time.
Absolutely. So, and that sounds great, but you would be surprised how many people actually violate that rule. And I've heard it from customers over the years. When we show up on time, they go, "God, you got the job." They're like, "Wait, well, I haven't even given you a price or anything."
They're just testing you out, yeah.
Well, not only that, they're just so excited that we showed up on time.
Right.
But it's true. If you can't show up on time for the estimate, the customer knows there's no way you're going to show up on time for the actual service itself. So it goes without saying, be on time. Don't be late.
Right.
What's number 2?
Number 2 would be to look professional. You can't be professional if you don't at least look professional. Be tidy, clean, and well-groomed prior to your arrival. This may sound so obvious, but you'd be surprised to see what consumer service companies consider to be professional attire. Never, ever walk into a prospect's home unless you are wearing the approved company uniform with a logo, something that looks professional.
Absolutely. And again, I am guilty here because in the early days, I just showed up in my khaki pants and polo shirt. It was Florida, so in some cases there might have been a flip-flop or two. Yeah. But I thought my pretty smile would be enough. But obviously that is incorrect. So yeah, look the part, look professional. And again, some of these things are obvious, but it's important to say them.
Absolutely.
All right, what's number 3?
The third thing to remember is to be prepared. It's good to take a packet of information to your client, just something they can remember you by when they're narrowing it down and making their decision. It's extremely important that you have all the necessary components of this packet. Maybe some detailed description of the service you provide and a little information about your client and a business card. Arriving unprepared can significantly lessen your chances of being hired by the potential client.
Yeah. Again, I hate to. If there's 10 of these, am I going to be guilty every time? I think so. But in the old days, I just showed up with a free business card I got off the internet and thought that was enough. But nowadays, we have a really cool-looking professional packet we put together that's got all sorts of information. If nothing else, more than likely, 95% of the people that get those packets put them off to the side. But, they stick around and somebody picks it up 2 weeks later. The husband sees it. Somebody sees it at some point, and it gives you another opportunity for a potential sale. So 3 of them. What's number 4?
Number 4 is never promise too much. You'll want each and every potential client to be a paying customer. However, never compromise yourself or promise too much in order to gain that one client. Your goal is to provide a great experience that keeps people coming back time and again. Promising too much can actually hurt your business because the experience must match the promise. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in the moment of an estimate or sale.
That again, I'm guilty again, Liz. Sorry. Yeah, and if you're like most cleaning business owners or any business owner, especially as you're growing in the early stages, you're going to want new customers. Every business wants new customers, but when you're in the early stages of building that business, obviously those new customers are extremely important. So you'll do almost anything it takes to get a new customer, and it feels right. It feels like that's what you're supposed to be doing. But the reality is that's a long-term issue if you're promising too much. So be very careful. And you're going to sit here and listen to me and go, you're right, Ron, I'm not going to promise too much. But then you're going to go out in that estimate and you're going to remember you need to really fill up next Friday's schedule. And that person's going to be wanting to set up and is going to ask this crazy question. You're going to go, okay, don't let it happen, because it's going to, if you have a long-term vision for your business, it's going to cause some problems down the road for you. All right, what's next, Liz?
Always take notes. You may not realize it, but every potential client is watching you during an in-home estimate. Prospects want to know that you're interested in their home and paying attention to their needs, so make sure you take detailed notes throughout the tour of the home. Prospects do not want to waste their time, so they're never going to, you never need to do an estimate without taking detailed notes. You can lose trust from that potential client if you tour their home and take no notes. Prospects assume at that point that your pricing formula needs detailed information in order to accurately price their home. So I even take time to do the in-home estimate if you're not going to take notes.
Yeah, and it's funny, we have a customer that still uses our services today down in Pensacola, and she actually said this to me years ago. I was, walking around the house with her, and I was listening to her. I didn't violate that part. I did listen to her, but I wasn't taking any notes because it was all in my head, and I'd done 100 before, and I knew, honestly, I kind of knew what we were going to price it within 5 seconds of being there. But that just something about that feels not very genuine, So we do have a formula for our pricing, and every business should have that. That's a whole nother discussion. But it's still important to take notes, if nothing else, to look the part. But also, after you leave, you may have 3 or 4 estimates in one day, so you're going to forget some of those things they're telling you. So you need to have those notes so you can refer back to those, whether it's tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
Price the job right. Providing the correct price for the job is essential. Consumer service companies get clumped together when it comes to the whole bait and switch strategy. Carpet cleaning companies, for example, offer $99 specials, only to discover that the actual price for the home is quite expensive. So this obviously creates distrust, so there's no need for you even to resemble that strategy. Providing the correct price is your best strategy, but stick to the incorrect price even if you make a mistake. It's better to lose some profit margin on the job because your reputation is much more important than just a few bucks.
Yeah, so nowadays the good news is at Two Maids and a Mop, and by the way, if you would like to purchase a franchise of Two Maids and a Mop, you can eliminate all these questions and just learn directly from us. But if you're going to do this on your own, it's very important for you to understand that pricing is a science by itself. We, in our operations manual, we have an entire chapter on nothing but pricing, and there is no subjectivity in our pricing strategy. Now, in the early days, there was a large bit of subjectivity, but it's important to remember what Liz says. Even if you, for some reason, after the fact, realize you may have priced this incorrectly, there's a time and a place to address that incorrect pricing, but it's not before that first cleaning, because that consumer service companies are unfortunately really classified in that somewhat scamish type category whenever that price all of a sudden increases. And we have a lot of great carpet cleaning partners out there all over the Southeast. So there's a lot of great ones and very ethical ones out there. But you and I both know there's a lot of coupons out there for these really cheap carpet cleanings, and they're not really that cheap in some cases. All right. So what else we have, Liz?
Never leave without selling. Think about this for a moment. You invested a large amount of money to receive dozens of phone calls and emails. You promptly invested your time to provide those folks with an introduction to your business. All in all, it cost your business hundreds of dollars just to convert one lead into an actual customer. So why would you leave there without selling? Always be selling while inside the potential client's home, and never ever leave without providing an exact price for the job. Of course, don't be pushy, but don't forget that selling is the only reason you're inside their home.
Mm-hmm. So that sounds crazy, right? But when you hear the word in-home estimate, none of that talks about selling.
Right.
But the reality is we're selling. That's what we're doing there. So there's a lot of people. I actually walked inside of an estimate going on with one of our competitors a long time ago, and I heard part of their pitch. It was extremely uncomfortable, but the customer said, "Yeah, come on in and just hang out over here," and I was very willing because I wanted to hear the pitch. That happened to me too. Yeah. And I don't know what your experience was, but for me, the person before me, number one, they weren't uniformed or professional, but most importantly, they wrote a number on a piece of paper, ripped it off, and said, "Here you go. Give us a call if you're interested," and bye-bye. And that was it. So she gave that potential customer exactly what the potential customer wanted, which was a price. But you've got to do more than just say, "Here's the price." You've got to sell.
Right.
All right. So what else do we have?
Never condemn another cleaning company.
Oh, I just did that.
When you're working to obtain a new customer, you may be tempted to slam your competitors. A lot of the times they talk to you about their previous experiences. So a more effective way to sell is to stay focused on your own services and highlight your competitive advantage positively. Focus on your strengths. If you emphasize your strengths instead of attacking your competitor's weakness, your credibility will increase, and you will not be guilty of making a false accusation. Your customer relationships will grow, and your sales will increase as a result.
That's just good life lessons. You know, there's enough cleaning companies out there. There's no reason to condemn any cleaning business. Everybody out there is doing the same thing we're doing, just trying to work hard and make a living.
Right.
All right, we're getting close to the end. What else we got?
Listen.
What?
Listen. This may also sound extremely obvious, but it's very important for you to actually listen to the prospect. In some cases, a salesperson can get overly excited and want to talk about his or her company in a very emotional manner. This salesperson truly believes in his or her company's services, but the potential client wants to talk, not listen. So the salesperson can actually lose the sale by talking too much. Selling is important, and providing your pitch is just as important. But you must listen to the potential client because they invited you into their home. Plus, some prospects provide hints on how they want to be sold. For example, some potential clients sincerely want and require that you use green services, and others could care less. There's no need to consume 15 minutes discussing your cleaning strategy if the prospect doesn't care in the first place.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because I love talking about myself and my business. So it's, who else has a TV station talking about themselves? That's just me. So, but listening is very, very important. So beyond listening, what else do you got?
Communicate clearly. Your job is to sell your services, so make sure you're communicating your message clearly. The complete experience is a different message and one that every potential client should hear and understand. So you'll need to explain and educate why your company is the obvious choice. Remember, the potential client doesn't work in this industry, and may have never ever hired your type of service. So know who you're talking to and communicate your benefits in a very clear and effective manner.
Mm-hmm. And that one is, again, the essence of salesmanship. You've got to be able to communicate. You've got to be able to talk to the customer in a way that they understand you, because you're going to be dealing with educated, highly educated people. You're going to be dealing with people who have maybe a little bit less educational experience, and it's going to be up to you to determine how your conversation should go. So there's got to be some salesmanship in everything you do here, and it goes beyond just communication and all that other stuff. So those 10 principles are extremely important. Now, there's probably more, but for us, those 10 have really worked well for us. Beyond those 10 principles, there are some key questions you're going to hear on a regular basis. Now, we're going to talk about those questions, but we don't really have the time, and you're already probably close to asleep at this point anyway, so you don't really want to hear these answers. Plus, every answer is different for every business. So, but we are going to talk about what the questions you're going to hear, because I can tell you right now, you're going to hear these questions almost every single time you provide an estimate. So, Liz, you've provided hundreds and hundreds of estimates. What are those questions?
Well, the first one, what are your rates? What do you charge?
Mm-hmm. That's, obviously that's the whole point of it, but you're going to hear that on a regular basis. And again, we can't give you that answer because every business prices their services differently. What's another key question?
Are you licensed, bonded, and insured?
So that's very important, because you're going to hear that every single time, whether you're on the phone or providing an estimate. And the answer obviously has to be yes, but more importantly, it cannot just be yes. Explain it, show it to them. So prove that you're licensed, bonded, and insured. What's a third question you're going to hear?
How long have you been in business?
Why people ask that question?
Why is that?
Trust is extremely important in our business, with any business, but for consumer services, for cleaning businesses, trust is it's key. So that question, whether they really understand it or not, is there to let them know if they can trust that you're going to be here for a long time, that you're going to be trustworthy inside their home. So it's a quick question with a big answer.
Sure.
So if you've only been open for 1 month, you may have to work around that. Yeah. What else are you going to hear?
Another one is, when can you clean my home? So how soon can I have service?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't beat that one. Some people are going to be home. Some people are going to be working. Some people are going to be working from home. Timing's important. All right, got a couple more?
Yeah, another one is closely related to that. If I'm not home, how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah, and rough in your office, how many customers are home when we clean, roughly percentage-wise? Maybe
30%. Not many. Yeah. Most people are not home during the cleaning.
And that has really changed over the years. In the early days, we were probably closer to 50 to 60% who were home. So yeah, it's a very important thing. And then there's one key question every cleaning business in America hears, other than licensed, bonded, insured. And what's that one? The number of people that are going to clean.
Oh, are you going to send the same people every single time?
Man, that one is the one that you better have a crafted response to, because you're going to hear that one, and they're going to really, really want to know the answer to that question. And again, we have an answer for that, and I'm not about to pitch another Two Maids to Mop franchise on you, but it is important for you to understand you better have a crafted message for that.
That's right.
Or you're probably not going to get the job. So again, we could go on and talk about several more questions along with some quick answers, but I think you kind of got the gist behind it. So Liz, thank you so much for being here today. If you had fun today, we'll bring you back. Is that a good deal?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see you next week.